Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Derek. This is
I'm Dan.
And my brother Scott is with us again. We did an intro with him on the last episode. He is in the National Guard, electrician. He just recently married. He's a stud. So,
And he's getting swole.
Yeah, he's getting so watch that last episode if you haven't yet. And it's also filled with some really good stuff about habits, good versus bad. Today we're kind of switching gears a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about what would we do if all of our problems were solved tomorrow. If we woke up, didn't have any problems, what would we do? But first, let's start with a quick story about something positive that happened. And this one actually happened in our community. Dan, if you want to tell us a little bit about what you and Shanna did.
Yeah, so what we did is we went to we got a soda shop and a snow cone shop here in our little town. So what we did is we went over and we got a couple little free drink cards and free snow cone cards, and we put them in envelopes with some stickers and a little, hey, stay awesome, different little motivations and things like that. We actually posted a shorts reel stuff on that, so I might tag that at the end of this, and then also the episode that we had previously, so they can learn a little bit more about you. But what we did is we took those, we put them in little cards, and we put a little open for a smile today or something like that on the envelope. And then we went and put them around town. So the 24th of July in Utah is Pioneer Day. That is the day that, Utah was initially settled and things. So it's celebrated here, kind of like the 4th of July is
Big
all over
day.
the country.
Yeah, it's a big holiday.
It's a big holiday in Utah. So we had a parade and things. So what we did is we went and hid cards around that morning. And so I went and did my grocery shopping when I was there. I just put one of the cards in another shopping cart.
That's cool.
And we went to our local park and we put it on one of the picnic tables there. Along the parade route, we put a couple of them just in different spots. We put one on a chair that somebody had already set up along the route, and then there was another building. So we just basically put 6 of these around town. We even put one at the post office, and we just wanted to do that, just kind of put a little smile on somebody's face. I mean, they're already going to be having a good time because it's the 24th of July, and but we figure that just finding that little card that says, you're awesome, share a smile, we figured that would be a good thing to do. So we did that. And
that's cool.
The best part about it is, we personally don't know who got them.
Yeah.
We don't know if it did brighten their day or not, but we envision that it did.
Yeah.
And
I mean, like you said, even if they're having the best of days, no problems in the day, and they found something like that, that'd make me happy still. I mean, it's
exactly
something like that never really happens.
Yeah, so we did spread a little bit of joy, and we hope to continue doing that because that's what we're all about. We're about motivating, spreading joy, and creating a better world for everyone.
And I think that's something anyone can do. I mean, any of you guys listening, it doesn't have to be an envelope full of cash or a gift card like they did. I think that's super cool. But if you can't afford that, just write a little note, say, hey, hope you have a good day. Just remember to smile. Go hide it somewhere. I think that's, you never really hear of stuff like that happening as often. Everyone's so busy with their day-to-day stuff. So,
and even if you don't see what that
results.
does, even if you don't see the results,
that
it's going to brighten somebody's day.
I don't think anyone's going to find it and be like, oh, those SOBs, why'd you give me that?
Exactly.
That's cool.
So, that's kind of something that we want to promote. We want you guys to, I mean, if you can, at least just write a little note and give it to even just the cashier at, the gas station, the grocery store, something just to promote a smile.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments kind of what you want to do to help spread those smiles.
Yeah, share your experiences with that. So jumping into our kind of what we're talking about today. So the question of the day: if we woke up tomorrow, no problems, no stresses,
no chores,
no work, what in the heck would we do with our lives? I was kind of thinking about this morning and last night, and I had a couple thoughts, but What would you do, Skylar? What are your what are your dreams and goals, or what's something that you've always wanted to do? Or
Man, if I didn't have,
any obligations?
obligations or problems, I'd 100% just get some mountain property and just live off the land, man. Just become so in tune with, nature and everything. Because I think that's one of the things about the world now is we're all just so caught up in our 40-hour work weeks and just hustling and hustling and just taking care of stuff, which, it's good to have obligations and it makes you responsible and stuff. But I would love to just, just buy some mountain property or something.
Go off grid.
Go off grid and just live that lifestyle, man. Just kind of go back to like what humans were always meant to do, in my opinion. It's just like,
that's funny because me and our wives and Dan and we all, we talk a lot about that, getting back into nature and stuff.
We actually envisioned it. Because we started looking at a place you sent
in Idaho.
Idaho,
heck yeah.
And you're like, dude, this lake. He's
right
like,
by a lake. Oh,
yeah,
man.
and you're like, man, this would be so awesome. And then we started like looking at houses out there. We looked at property out there, and just to get an idea of what life could be like there.
It's okay to dream. People don't dream enough. I mean, think about what you want. Start writing things down, and I don't know. You can make it happen if you try hard enough. But.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, it's all about what you're willing to do. To get that. And I'm not saying like sacrifice your morals. Don't do that.
Right.
But even without sacrificing your morals, you can still make anything happen.
And that's that was one of my thoughts that I was thinking about is, you have these dreams, and you're like, what would I do if I had no problems, no job, no stresses? But why not start working towards that now? I mean, like Skylar said, people are like, they're always focused on, okay, I gotta wake up, go to work. Well, when you get home, instead of spending a couple hours watching movies or something, why don't you spend a couple hours with your partner, your spouse, or whatever, and make plans and goals and start working towards these things now. I mean, it's not gonna hurt anything, but. Let's go to yours. What's your what's your dream or whatever if you woke up with no problems?
It's really hard to actually like envision it because we're so caught up in the day-to-day rat race that we don't know how to picture it without that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because true. It's like, I would do this. Yeah. It's like, I would love to have a big ranch, with all this grass, big fields, and then you're like, oh, but then I have to do all this work with it, and then I got to. But what the part is what would you want or what would you have if you didn't have to deal with all that? Like what would you envision is the best life for you? And that's really kind of where it comes down to is trying to figure that out without focusing on, oh, it's going to be these chores and these chores and these chores tacked onto it. Because, I mean, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I want this. If let's say somebody won the lottery, okay?
Someone just won the $1 billion. That wasn't me. Dang it.
It wasn't me either. If it was, we would probably be doing this a lot more. But there'd be a lot more goodwill going around and everything. But we didn't. We're still going to put out a lot of goodwill for you though, so don't worry about that. But yeah, it's trying to envision, being able to do anything you want to do without having the repercussions, the downsides to that. And it's hard for me to overlook those. But if I was to, I, like you were saying, kind of go back to nature, go back to find a nice plot of land out in the hills, out in preferably green mountains with some lakes and things. That would be perfect. You're out there. It's not so much just that you're out with nature, but you're able to be out somewhere where there's not all that hustle and bustle all the time.
Yeah, slow life down. Yep.
Exactly. And I feel that by slowing life down, that really gets you where you want to be.
Yeah.
Because you're able to focus on what you want to focus on. Yeah. Being out in the mountains, I mean, you've got wildlife, you've got the stars that you can see at night. Tell me how many stars do you see up in Salt Lake?
0.
Maybe squint hard enough.
Not even anything. Just smog and airplanes.
But the positives though, like what's something good about Salt Lake that you like?
Just gotta think hard about that.
There's not many. I don't know, man. I am like 100% like small town, like it's not that I don't like people. I just don't like traffic. I think that, like, humans, I personally believe that, and I'll get to a positive thing in here in a minute. I think it's something, but I honestly do believe that humans were, meant to be, more of like a community based, and like in these big cities, you don't really find, not to get political or anything, but you don't really find that, man. You just, we need to be, humans are so detached from nature nowadays, and that's kind of goes around along with my goals. My goals are if I could do anything and I didn't have any problems, like I would be literally in nature, just, trying to become more in tune with my spiritual side, more or less, and
Yep.
But positive things about Salt Lake. Let's see. There's a lot of stuff to do. Like, they always have concerts and shows and stuff like that. I haven't been to any yet since I've moved up there, but
lots to do.
Yeah, they have that city scene, and they have downtown. They have, Temple Square up there, the LDS Temple, where they do like the Christmas lights and stuff.
Mhm.
And
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's super cool, and they have all that kind of stuff. They have like some cool like go-kart racing place that I've gone
K1.
to.
K1,
Yeah,
okay.
that's way fun. So there's a few cool things that you'd have to go to like Vegas or something. It would be like the next closest place that has stuff like that. But we'll make it work. I always try and see the positive side of things, so we're just gonna make it work, and the commute isn't the greatest sometimes. Like if I gotta go, I live in around Riverton area, so
Okay.
if I gotta go up to Salt Lake City, it's like
Half-hour drive.
a half-hour drive, and then
Without traffic.
rush hour, it's like an hour and
Yeah.
some change. So it is what it is, but we're gonna. I'm not. I'll try to keep a positive mindset about it, but.
Yeah.
That's all we can do.
Yeah, because I know that when we lived up there, that was the biggest thing that we had an issue with too. Was that all the congestion and just the fact that you really couldn't get away from any of it without going a good hour drive.
Yeah.
Because to get up, like even like Park City, American Fork Canyon, like
Mhm.
a lot of these nicer places that you can go to that are a little bit more out there, they're still super busy.
Yeah.
Because everybody else is going to there, so it's like you have to go even further
Yeah.
to really escape from the day to day. But there's a lot of places that you can still go to like that, and so that's the positive. The positives there is there's still places you can go if you want to kind of get out of that bustle.
I think, and that's important, is with the positive mindset, is anywhere you go, like for right now, this is kind of just the situation we're put in, just for my wife's family, being close to them for a bit, but it's wherever you go, you have to find something positive out of it, right? So like you can look at the negative all day long, right? But the positives are, I have a good job, we're close to her family. Those are a few positives. There's a Winco Foods, which is, by the way,
Winco.
the best. I will preach on that freaking rock the day I die, till the day I die.
Hashtag Winco. If you want to come to Southern Utah,
Southern
just
Utah.
say. Yes, I constantly see people like, hey, Winco needs to come down here. Winco needs to come down here, and it's
awesome.
we love it. We love it.
That's good stuff.
No, but yeah, so I think that's important. Just you can find things to complain about all day long, but at the end of the day, it's not gonna help you none. So just look for stuff that will make you feel better. Not just make you feel better, but is actually positive things that. We're and to live in this first world country that we do live in, we are like incredibly blessed, and we don't even realize it. Everyone takes so much stuff for granted nowadays, not myself included. I'm definitely not. I complain about the traffic, but man, I got a truck that I can even drive. You know what I'm saying? Some people don't even have that. Whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, it's like we have a lot of amenities and a lot of good things that positively affect our lives that we don't even really take into account for sometimes. But anyway, not to get too far off the topic, but
well, no, that's perfect. I mean, that's right with our topic, because you're like, we can do all this stuff, and that's right in line, because what would we do if we didn't have to worry about all the negatives? I mean, would you just drive the same old truck, or would you get a new truck? Like, what would you do with that? I mean, would you upgrade anything that you have now? Or would you just have, or would you keep it more just how basic, simple, or I guess humble is the word I was looking for.
So I think that like in the society we live in, we've kind of been conditioned, right? Conditioned to want the nicest things, the fastest car, biggest
Always
truck,
competing
biggest
with neighbors.
But I think that it's like, yeah, keeping up with the Joneses or whatever, right? That whole saying.
No offense, Joneses. we like you guys too.
Yeah, so but I think it's like we need to really try and, you know, a lot of that stuff is just material. It's just material stuff, man. Like I think the most
Doesn't really truly make you
yeah,
happy.
it doesn't really truly make you happy, you know, and it can try and fill that void. But I think honestly, the most important thing, if I didn't have any worries, I would obviously, like I said, move to mountains or whatever. But I think I would also just try and become more enlightened, more knowledgeable, learn some skills that I could use and stuff that I could help to, you know, provide for my family, protect my family, and I think like family and knowledge and truth and enlightenment is all like the most important things that you can actually focus on. So maybe I retract I'm not completely retracted, but I think I would add that on to my earlier statement about that's also what I would do. I would we're exposed to so much information nowadays that we could literally learn anything we wanted to, and we don't take advantage of that enough. I think that we need to really, you know, just become more enlightened and more knowledgeable on stuff. So,
And that's an excellent comment. I mean, because we do take everything for granted. We do, because we're just so used to it. We were raised in the technology age. I mean, the fact that we can hold a phone in our hands,
Anything
that has access to everything, yeah. And it's like cars can be controlled with your phone now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But if we go back to like our grandparents' day, the phone they had to share with the rest of the community.
Yeah.
It was whoever picked up the phone first. If there was somebody talking, they'd have to set it back down and wait for that person to get off the phone, and then it'd go through a switchboard. And you know, it was a lot more. Well, I guess I would almost say it's more technical back then, because there were so many more steps to do it.
Yeah, it wasn't just push a button.
I know, and everything nowadays is just easier and easier to do, and we just take it all for granted. I mean, the fact that, you know, we went to the moon with less electronics than's in our phone, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and so everything you just said, that's like wonderful.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, yeah, it's we all just need to slow down, look at everything in our lives, be able to focus on, you know, bettering ourselves, and then we can get whatever we want.
Yep. And I think that's my main takeaway from this episode is, you know, we can all hope that one day all of our problems will be gone, but they're not going to be. Even if we win the lottery, even if we get a big inheritance, that doesn't solve all our problems, like you touched on, Dan. We can always buy those next greatest things, but that's not going to change our, you know, what we're searching for, seeking for. So, you know, why not start now and try and find those things that will make us truly happy, and whether that be, you know, slowing life down and getting out into the mountains more, whether it be learning a new skill or whatever. But I think that's kind of that was my main takeaway from this. So
yeah, for sure. And expanding yourself and developing more for you, growing.
Yep.
So
perfect. Any other comments?
Well, I'm kind of curious as to, you know, what you guys would do. What would you do if you didn't have any of the negatives tagged along with the positives that you want? You know, if you didn't have to work, if you didn't have to do the dishes, let's say you didn't have to mow the lawns.
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing like that. There was no, like, what would you do with your life?
Yeah, let us know in the comments.
And yeah. Well, hey, Skylar, it was great to have you again.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's wonderful having chats and hearing your side of things, and you brought up a lot of good points. We appreciate you, and once again, thank you for your service. And Derek, and
yep,
it's been a great
always fun being here. So
yeah,
appreciate you guys, and see you on the next one. Right?
Yep. Hey,
yeah.
take it easy. Thanks.